It was 1968. And I was vacationing with my mom and my sister in Indiana when the news came that somebody had shot Martin Luther King on a balcony in a hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. And we watched on the television as this bulletins kept coming through about Martin Luther King dying. And the next day was the day that we were going to drive back from Indiana to our home in the west suburbs of Chicago. And so the next day we drove into the south side of Chicago, up the Dan Ryan Expressway. And as we were driving up to connect with the Eisenhower to go west, we began to see the fires. Smoke billowing out from each side of the expressway. And as we began to go through the old neighborhood where I used to live, even more smoke, even more fires coming up. And my mom looked up ahead and she could see that on the overpass over the freeway, there were a bunch of kids with bottles and bricks and rocks throwing things down onto the traffic, onto the expressway. And so in order to avoid that, my mom drove off the nearest ramp and drove into the neighborhood. And she got lost. We were driving through streets filled with broken glass, burnt out cars turned over, broken windows and burnt buildings on either side of us. And everything was completely still and empty. There was nobody there. And as we were driving down the street, I remember looking up and seeing a car coming towards us. It was a 1954 blue Chevrolet. And there were two black guys in the front of that car. And they drove up towards us as we drove towards them, and the closer they got, the more I could see the eyes on the driver of this car getting wider and wider as he saw who was in our car, a white woman with two white kids in a 1964 Plymouth. And the two cars stopped next to each other, and my mom rolled down her window, and he rolled down his. And he looked at my mom and he said, "Lady, what the hell are you doing here? You take this car and you turn it around and you get the hell out of here." You understand what I'm saying? You get those two precious kids of yours and you turn around and you get the hell out of here. Whatever you do, don't go down that street. You turn this car around and get out. You understand me? And he rolled up his window and drove on. And my mom rolled her window up and she got the hell out of there. To this day, I can remember his face. The face of this man who entered my life for 45 seconds and changed it. And when I close my eyes and see that face in front of me, I want to ask the question, who are